Hey everybody, today we're going to be expanding off of the last lesson we did. Remember, perimeter was just the distance around an object. Today we're going to move on to area, which is still going to use that idea of shape. We're just talking about the area inside of a shape. Now there's lots of places in everyday life that you're going to use this, that I use it as an adult, or even that you use it as a kid. Here's some. When it comes to laying carpet in a bedroom, to know how much carpet to order, you need to know the area of the floor. You need to know that square footage of the floor so you know how much carpet to buy so you can lay it down. When painting, you often have to calculate the square footage of paint. When you buy a gallon of paint, it tells you that that gallon is good for so many square feet. And so to know the square footage you're working with would be very helpful in knowing how much paint to buy when you're moving into it. Or even you as kids, if you look at this one down here. How many Legos do I need to fill up that entire sheet, that entire green flat piece? So that is all area. Some of these are adult things, some of them are kid things, but we use area almost, I don't know, just frequently. I wouldn't say almost every single day, but there's always, how much food can I fit on a shelf? That's going to be the area of that shelf in the fridge. So knowing area is an important thing for real life. Now, area is simply, we've said already, the amount of space inside a shape. So I've got a rectangle here. The area is going to be how many of these small squares there are inside that rectangle. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 15 squares inside that shape. And it is because of this idea as to how many squares are inside the shape that we refer to this as square. Writing. Square units. Okay, so that rectangle is 15 square units. You might see that abbreviated as SQ period UN period square units. You might also see it even shorter hand than that, units squared, bringing in that idea of the exponent, units squared. So 15 square units, 15 SQUN is square units, or 15 UN to the second power is units squared. Okay. There are some things that we are going to want to make sure we're still familiar with when we're talking about area. Do you remember our dimensions of a rectangle when it came to perimeter? We had to add together the length and the width of that rectangle. Those are going to be important again when it comes to talking about the formula for an area model. So remember those. This one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has a length of 5 and a width of 1, 2, 3. So length and width are going to be important as we continue talking about this. So let's just look at these a little bit, and without even doing any math. Right now I just want to count squares. Okay, so if I look at the length of this, how many across is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 across. So it's 4 units across, and it is just 1 unit wide. Okay, and that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So an area of 4 units. All right, so let's look at this one. It has that same 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units long. It is 1, 2 units high. Okay, and if we count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so with 4 units by 2 units, I have an area of 8. Let's do it one more time. It is still that 1, 2, 3, 4 length. This time we are 1, 2, 3 units wide. And if we were to count, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 units. I want you to take a look at those numbers before we get into that last box down there for just a minute. A length of 4, a width of 1, my area was 4. A length of 4, a width of 2, my area was 8. A length of 4, a width of 3, my area was 12. I'm going to give you just a second of thinking time here. So think about those numbers and see if you notice a pattern. See if you notice something developing here. Okay, just take a couple seconds of thinking. Okay, so what patterns did you notice? 4 units by 1 unit is 4 units. 4 units by 2 units is 8 units. 4 units by 3 units is 12. What's going on with my area as my width increases? Okay, hopefully you noticed 4 times 1 equals 4. 4 times 2 equals 8. 4 times 3 equals 12. So this brings us to our formula then that I told you we were going to get to, why we wanted to know length and width. I'm going to choose a different color besides red because it might blend in with the red here. But length times width equals the area. So let's take a look at our last one here. Let's go with, I don't know, let's do something fun. Let's do magenta. Okay. So how many units is the length? It's 5. How many units is the width? It's 3. Okay, so calculate then the area. What do you get for an area for something that's 5 by 3? We're not actually going to count these ones this time. But if you just do 5 times 3, what do you get? Okay, hopefully you said 15. So if we were to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 square units. So that brings us then overall to what we want to look at. If I've got this rectangle here, as I get more and more and more of those little squares in there, I'm going to want to do less and less and less counting. Okay? I could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's going to take me forever. Okay? Or I could remember that my area formula, area is equal to length times width. So what is my length here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a length of 5 units. And I have a width of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of 10 units. Now again, I could count all of those squares if I really wanted to, but let's save ourselves some time here. I know that the area of that rectangle is going to equal the length of 5 times the width of 10. So we've got 5 times 10. That tells me my area equals, everybody tell me, what is 5 times 10? Okay, 50. Now let's remember to put our units. We don't know what the units are, feet, yards, whatever. So we're just going to say square units. So that is 50 square units. Let's do one more, and then we're going to do lots of practice. You know, we got 6 more minutes on this video before Screencast kicks me out, so I've got plenty of time. What is my length? Okay, my length is 1, 2, 3, 4. My width is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 by 4, and 4 times 4 is 16 units squared. Remember, there's 3 different ways we can write that. We could write it out square units, we could write out SQUN, or we can say units squared, or whatever it is, feet squared, meters squared, yards squared, or square feet, square meters, square yards. Okay? So if we were to count, there are 16 of those little squares in this box. Okay, let's take a look at these 3 more. 2 of them don't even put the little boxes in it for me to count. So let's just start over here with this one that does. What is my width? How wide is that? Okay, it's 2. Okay, and then how long is it? It really doesn't matter which side you call length and width or width and length. None of that really matters because in the end you're just going to multiply the two numbers together anyway. So if I have a width of 2 and a length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a length of 10. Okay, so my area then is going to equal 2 times 10. And 2 times 10 is what? Go ahead and tell me. I can hear you. Through the camera, I can hear you. 2 times 10 is? Good. 20. 20 square units. Now these ones actually give me units. Okay, 2 yards and 10 yards. Uh-oh. It's basically the same problem we did right there, except we actually have a name for our units now, yards. So length times width. 2 times 10 was what? Good. 20. Okay, so 20 square, rather than units this time, we're going to say square yards. Okay, or 20 yards squared. Uh-oh, I'm kind of covering you up over here. It's 6 by something. 6 by 2. Okay, you figure out the answer. I'll give you a second here to figure out the answer to that. 6 by 2. Okay, hopefully you did 6 times 2, which was 12. And it is 12 meters is my unit squared. Okay, so square yards or meters squared, those are the two different ways you can write that unit. Okay, we're going to add one more little twist into this. Okay, if I have a length and no width, but I know the area, is it possible to figure it out? Think about your fact families. Okay, multiplication and division. We have 7, we have something, and we have 49. Okay, two different ways you can think about this. 7 times what equals 49? Or 49 divided by 7 is, so I'm going to take my area and I'm just going to flip it around. I'm going to now do my area divided by the one side that I know, and that ends up being, for this one, 7, and my unit is inches, so 7 inches. Okay, let's do a few more of these to practice and then we'll wrap things up. I've got about a minute and a half is all. So we've got area of 32 with a length of 4. Remember, we take that area and then we divide it by my length of 4. 32 divided by 4, or 4 times what is 32? And your answer comes to 8. 4 times 8 is 32, so it's 8 meters. What about here? An area of 1, or an area of 5 with a width of 1. So 1 times, let's give it a letter, because we, this is, we'll say the width. 1 times the width equals 5. So 1 times what equals 5? 5 centimeters. And then my last one here, if I've got an area of 24 and a width of 6, I'm going to do that 24 divided by 6 to get an answer of what? 4 inches. Okay, I might throw a couple of story problems into the practice, but for the most part, that's what you need to know. Length times width equals your area, or if you've got one side of it, You're just going to do the area divided by that one side to get your answer. Hit me up if you have questions.